Roman Reigns has a simple mission statement here in WWE. He just wants to wreck everyone and leave.
Lately, that mission statement has been seeming more like a prophecy.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with the results Reigns has gotten from that more aggressive approach. We'll see if it's more of the same here tonight.
Hello, Adam Cook from GodIsAGeek.com here to talk about a video game with Chris White. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate.
Well, hopefully, mate, if people are already smart and looking at what they're seeing, they know which video game it is. It's a wrestling one, but it's not just any wrestling one. It's WWE 2K22, which you got to have some hands-on time with the PC version. A new mode, which I think is obviously very exciting for fans of the series. But I think also, and it's totally up to you where you want to start here. But I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in the gameplay aspect as well because of last year's game. And I won't keep on about last year's game. Chris, talk to me. My GM mode, right?
Yeah, so before we dive into my GM mode, I do want to mention the gameplay because that was a big issue with the previous entry, definitely. But it had been kind of stagnant for a while. So there's a definite shift in what visual concepts have done with it. They've kept very true to the core elements, so the light strikes, the strong strikes, the grappling, all feels very similar. However, they've kind of thrown in combos now, which it makes the game look more realistic. Because like in the old games, you could kind of spam the strike button, do a strong grapple, a rinse and repeat kind of thing. Whereas these combos, they implement strikes and moves all in one kind of swift motion.
Right.
So it mixes up how it looks, but how it plays, and it flows very well. And that's something it hasn't done for a while. The other big change for me, at least, is when you get pinned. Previous games, they threw in these stupid gauges and all sorts. And if you are in a match and someone tries to pin you after an elbow drop and you don't press the button at the right time, you'll get pinned 3-3, and it's very unrealistic and very annoying.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's button mashing is back. You literally spam the A button to fill a circle, and if you fill it in time, you will break the pin. And that led to a lot of kind of near falls, and it's very, very kind of, again, realistic. Some missions, again, there's no stupid thing where you're moving the two analog sticks and it becomes very difficult when it doesn't need to be. Now
it was getting a bit UFC, wasn't it? It was getting a bit technical.
Yeah, it was. And now you're spamming the button prompts to fill a gauge, and it again, very simple, very effective, makes it less stressful all round. But just the kind of flow of it, moving around the ring, changing from aerial attacks to jumping outside to the out the ring, off the apron, whatever, it all feels great. Early stages, obviously, 2 hours. So we'll see how that plays out later. Like I got to try out a lot of different superstars. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to forget who I'm allowed to and who I'm not. So I won't bother.
But man, it sounds like you're positive on it, and I know this is it almost sounds like, because I'm not a big wrestling guy, but I really feel bad for people who are, because it's the only game in town, really, isn't it? WWE 2K22, and a bit like the way FIFA's becoming that. I'm
not going to get into the politics of the actual WWE at the minute. But the brand itself and the shows themselves have gone downhill a lot, and it's a shame. But like this game, as what we don't get other games for other promotions. No. This is a strong start, and I like it. Does feel a bit like a reboot of the series, and I do think they're gonna only build on it. But like in terms of this mode, so my GM, you get to run one of the brands of WWE. So any fan knows what Raw and SmackDown is, what NXT is, and what NXT UK is. You can pick from one of 5 GMs, or you can create your own. However, I didn't create my own. I picked William Regal, who very famous British wrestler from Blackpool, who spent years running NXT, which is a very famous brand in WWE. So I took control of NXT. You start off with a budget to draft in 8 superstars. And once you've picked your 8, you can draft in a few more, or you can save your money and use that to improve a whole manner of things when you actually start planning for your shows. So you pick 3 matches every week. You don't have to put promos in the show, but you've got the option to put some promos in, so that will build characters' popularity. It can build your fan base. You could use it to call out other wrestlers and start feuds. So you can kind of build all that. You pick your champions who you want to start the brand with the belts. Put them in title matches during the actual week or during the pay-per-views. So I only got to play 1 pay-per-view because of the kind of 2-hour limit.
Time.
Yeah. But the matches themselves, you can simulate them, you can watch them, or you can play them.
Oh, wow.
They require you to have good star ratings, so it's probably best to play them so you can mix up how the matches play out. But that's all an option. There's other like small additions. So obviously, if you have a successful show, you make more money. You can then use that money to draft in free agents, so you can build your roster that way. Now these free agents are known wrestlers, but they're also like made up wrestlers as well, which was kind of cool.
So what?
Just like random people like that. But
are there also? Are you saying there's like a combination of sort of fake, as it were, and real wrestlers?
Yeah, which is kind of cool because you can. Yeah, you can. I'd assume in the full game you can build them into being proper stars.
I wonder if you can create one. Like, can you?
Quite possibly. Yeah, I hope
create
so. That'd be
create
cool.
you yourself as like someone as a wrestler and bring them in. That would be maybe that's like sort of thing you could iterate on in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could. You can draft in legends as well. So
how does that work?
Guys like Big Boss Man, Eddie Guerrero. You just there's like
surely.
But
he's old, right?
No, but they're basically them in their prime.
Oh God!
Whether you want,
really? So my era.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, when you said Big Boss Man, I was like, that's essentially me, older than me, wrestling, and I don't want
to. But like that. So there's legends, and then there's also kind of like weekly goals set out by Triple H, who is the commissioner. Everyone knows Triple H is a big part of NXT. He will give you things to do. Like 1 week, he might say, right, I don't want any champions wrestling this week because I want them to rest.
Oh, wow.
If you do that, you get a power card, which are a new thing included, where power cards can be implemented from week to week. They can be used on wrestlers to give them like a week's break and recover their stamina, because stamina depletes if you keep using them in matches, and then that could lead to injuries. So you could then be without some of your stars going forward, which could obviously affect the fan rating because they're going to be missing out on seeing their favorite guys. Power cards also, your GM gets a power card to start the promotion with, and Regal's was the ability to draft in a legend for free, so you don't have to pay his wages. And these kind of drafts, like these extra, like whether they're free agents or legends, they have like a specific weekly contract, so they might not be there for the entire time. Some might. Well, most legends only have like 5-week contracts, 10-week contracts, which can potentially be offered again, but it all depends on what they say. And you have email conversation with a lot of wrestlers who will ask whether they could have a tag team match with a specific partner or whether they can be in the main event. By doing so, you build their morale. So there's a lot of moving parts in this MyGM modes, and it's like 2 hours is too short to say.
Well, I was going to say that. I was going to say, can you get sacked? Like, but within 2 hours, you probably don't know.
No idea, but there's a good chance because you are battling with another GM and another brand, so it does feel like there is a reason to make sure you put on the best shows, not just for the sake of it, but because you are in direct competition with someone else. So
it kind of sounds amazing. Like I've not. I said it once. I'll say it again. I'm not a big wrestling guy. I was when I was younger. It sounds amazing. Like it sounds like I want to play this. Like what you've described to me sounds really interesting.
And the fact that there are so many other modes in it, which we haven't even seen yet, like the whole Rey Mysterio showcase mode, the My Rise, which is like your career mode, which I don't know anything about really. There's tons of stuff. So this My GM mode is a very strong start. So it will be interesting to see whether it lasts and whether it gets better or whether it becomes repetitive, whatnot. But I mean, yeah, so far, mate, I'm impressed with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally respect why someone like yourself who plays the games every year is a little more calm in your words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've not been funny, and we're not here, to do this, but you've been burnt in the past in terms of this series. But it is a different developer. Like, it sounds like it's what I'm hearing almost is that kind of thing. How like the Gears series, they did one that was like, yeah, we can do this game, but now we're going to do our version of the game. And I'm hoping that's the case, because I do think wrestling fans deserve better in terms of their video games. But yeah, I can hear in your voice that you're calm about it, because you don't want to be like too. Because like you say, there's a lot you don't know yet, and 2 hours is really, it's baby steps.
What I will say is, from the first match, I could tell it was vastly improved.
That's great.
It's pre-release. Bugs wise, I'm not going to talk about bugs, but I literally encountered nothing, and that's not to say there won't be.
No,
that's not important right now, because it's not fair, because it's not been released.
And 2 hours,
that is a good sign,
Yes.
The way it looks, the way the wrestlers move, you can't just jump from the ring post to the middle of the ring and land it spot on. I had no wrestlers falling off looking stupid through the ropes. I had a Extreme Rules match with ladders, tables, and that all worked so well, which that was a massive issue in the past as well. So far, like, they've got a lot of stuff right. So we'll see going forward if that, continues.
No, absolutely. And from my perspective, it's like, I can't remember ever being able to show people pre-release footage of a wrestling game. So that says to me that there might be some confidence in the game that there perhaps has been lacking in the past. But we don't know. Again, this is all conjecture. I don't know for sure. Chris, thank you so much for telling us about WWE 2K22.
No worries.
You can go to godisageek.com, of course, and read a more sort of formal preview. We do these videos to kind of accompany the other version of the preview, which is a more formal thing. And I'm sure if you leave any questions in the YouTube comments down there that we are allowed to answer, I'm sure we can give them to Chris, and he can let you know. If you don't know, we have a Patreon, so go to patreon.com/godisageek, where you get early access to stuff, extra podcasts, all sorts of things, code giveaways. But otherwise, thanks very much, Chris, and everyone else. We will speak to you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.